Well, joining me now on the show is Black Lives Matter protest organiser Imarn Ayton. Imarn, what's your reaction to this? I mean, we saw during the BLM protest huge clashes going on, police taking the knee, one side saying that the police have a problem when it comes to racism, another side saying that they appease protesters. I mean, where do you stand?
I think it's excellent. I'm elated. I was so happy when I found out the news. Basically, the reality is Black people have been saying that the police are institutionally racist for at least 4 decades, right? Generations saying the same thing over and over and over again with very little acknowledgement. We get to the 80s after the Brixton riots and we have Lord Scarman alluding to the police being institutionally racist. We then get to 1999 and we have, obviously after the Stephen Lawrence case, Macpherson stating that they actually are. And then we have Cressida Dick, who comes along with the mandate to actually rectify said problem. She ends up ultimately spending the next 2 decades actually saying that institutionalized racism is an unhelpful term. And then we fast forward to 2021 and we end up having Boris Johnson, the likes of Tony Sewell and the rest of his team stating that institutionalized racism doesn't exist. So it's been this uphill battle constantly for the Black community in regards to trying to deal with these racial disparities. And what I find particularly ironic is that less than 1 year after this report was published, the police are mired in allegations of racism, homophobia, Islamophobia, sexism, rape culture, domestic violence culture, and corruption. I don't think there's anything more that we can add to the list at this point, Alex. I think we're running out of things. So if Cressida had dealt with that original discrimination and prejudice to begin with, I don't think it would have, festered and throughout the years and branched out into so many different areas, which is what we're seeing now.
But, I mean, arguably, throughout the land, there are going to be offices full of people in WhatsApp groups, football teams, just friendship groups who are having conversations in colourful language, who are behaving in a way that, frankly, a lot of us would shudder at. It's very difficult, surely, for one woman to police the entire Met Police. Do you think that things are going to get better with someone else in charge, or is it going to be the same old, same old?
I think the next person has a gigantic challenge on their hands. Ultimately, for us as Black people, we need the acknowledgement of institutional racism. That's the kind of first port of call for us in regards to making progress. But ultimately, there are things that really do need to be acknowledged. Institutionalized sexism needs to be acknowledged. Institutionalized racism needs to be acknowledged. And then we can begin to move forward. But again, to ignore something and then try to rectify it is completely and utterly nonsensical. And that's something that Cressida Dick and many others have continued to do throughout the years. Cressida Dick has been in a state of denial for most of her career, and this is why we're in the position of trust and confidence being obviously plummeting and obviously getting to this point. So it's going to be a massive challenge, but institutionalized racism needs to be on the agenda.
Imarn Ayton, who is organiser of Black Lives Matter movement in the UK, thank you so much.